All right, good evening everybody. This is Philly X with Confident Gamers. I'm here at Rockefeller High School and we are here for the Washington Metropolitan Gamers Symphony Orchestra. And Nigel Horne has been gracious enough to give us some time to learn a little bit about himself and about the organization. So Nigel, can you give some history of yourself? When did you first start to get passionate about music?
That's a very difficult question to say. So let me give you, I will give you a bit of a story about myself. When I was 8 years old, I'd already taught myself to play the piano very basically. It was not very well. You can't teach yourself to be proficient. Anyway, when I was 8, I was very sweet. It's difficult to see now and think of it now, but it was true. And my mum tells me of a story where my father had to throw the piano out because it was riddled with woodwork. So he chopped it up, put it on the bonfire for firewood, and I apparently cried myself to sleep that very night. And my mother and father said, okay, we didn't realise it was quite that important to you. We know of an opening in the local band that will teach youngsters. A couple of your cousins are starting to learn there, and they have been, and their parents have been through it. So why don't we sign you up for it? So I learned to play cornet in the local brass band when I was about 8 years old, and never looked back since. I've had two loves in life. One's instrumental music, and the other one is choral music. So I did the choral music in school, and I did instrumental school in public music ensembles outside, community groups you might call it outside.
Philly X here with Confident Gamers. We're at the Washington Metropolitan Gamer Symphony Orchestra, and we're here at the intermission, and we want to kind of get a feel of how you guys enjoyed the evening so far.
Oh, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's really great. I love it.
I've been gaming for most of my life, and hearing these tunes, live is wonderful.
It's always nice to see or to hear a variety of different games you played growing up. It really just takes.
How did you guys find out about the event?
Actually, one of the performers, I think, was it Melissa Apple? Yeah, she had made a comment about it, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was happening. And especially, it's like right in the high school that I used to go to, so why not come out?
Awesome.
Give me a chance to get back.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So now, which out of the instruments you've learned, which has been your favorite so far?
Oh, that's really putting me on the spot because whatever I say, it's going to offend somebody for saying, I thought you really enjoyed this. So here's the thing. There are two sets of instruments which I will call my choral parts, my core parts. One is the alto horn, which is an instrument you wouldn't have heard of, and it's an instrument that was invented by Adolf Sax as part of the Sax horn set of instruments, and it's like a small tuba about that big. And that's what I went on to play in the brass band when I needed a bigger instrument than the cornet that I've been playing beforehand. And then I would say about 30 years ago, I started to move into conducting, and then found out very quickly that I knew nothing about percussion. So I took it upon myself to have a go with percussion lessons. Now this will be much more recent, about 20 years ago. I took myself on to take percussion lessons, private percussion lessons. And so I would say that I moved on from brass to percussion being my core instrument. So if you said to me, Nigel, we need you to go and play something, that would be what I'll play now that I'm terribly out of practice.
guys like so far? What's your experience?
Well, it was really good. Definitely worth the drive. We got to see one of our friends perform in concert, and I gotta say, I've been trying to make a date, and finally, this is the one.
Are you guys enjoying the music selection so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Of all the games I grew up with,
Super Smash Brothers.
Warcraft, yeah, Super Smash.
That was wonderful.
Is everybody here gamers?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
You qualify. Now, how did you play one of your friends perform? Is that how you found out about the music?
Well, there are two ways. One is a fellow of mine, buddy of mine, he played in the University of Maryland Orchestra, the Symphony Orchestra, and then I happened to work with one of the chorus leads. Yeah, they arranged the vigil.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
No problem.
And now, so you said you started conducting about 30 years ago, is that what you said? Or about 20 years?
No, I started conducting about 30 years ago.
Now, what brought you, or what sparked that interest in conducting music?
Well, you know, I would always looked at scores, even when I was very young. I had an interest in looking at scores, be they full instrumental, full orchestral, or be they for a small chamber group. And I've been fascinated, even at a young age, of what is on the paper and how that goes into a piece of music that you will listen to. So even when I was very young, I would listen to music and follow the scores. Even rock music, they produce rock scores. Queen did this, for example, of what's called off-the-record scores. So you could follow along. And I suppose that was a bit nerdy, but that got me really into the way that things work. And that's where the passion came from. Then an opportunity came in a local band for me to go and conduct them, where they were actually advertising. I applied and I got the job. And with the exception of one break, which is when I took up percussion and did percussion seriously for about 5 years, I've been conducting ever since then. Both bands and now orchestras, I should say.
And now, how did you get connected with the Washington Metropolitan Symphony Orchestra?
About 4 years ago, their treasurer, Chris Apple, and I had an email exchange. He had seen a dissertation I'd written as an undergraduate about the use of quarter tones and strange harmonics and unusual, unique harmonics, and they're using brass instruments. And he emailed me saying, "I've read your paper, did you do anything with it?" And I said, "Well, I did a little bit, but not as much as I'd like to." And that was pretty much the end of the conversation, because I wasn't able to give him what he needed. And then, it must have been 6 months or a year later, I got an email out of the blue saying, "Hey, me and a few of my friends are forming this Symphony Orchestra from alumni from University of Maryland Symphony Orchestra. Would you like to audition to come and conduct us?" And I thought for about a second, and I thought, sure, this will work fine, I'll go along. And that's how I got introduced to the group, and that's how I decided this is definitely the right thing for me.
So we're here at Intermission, and I just want to know how you guys enjoy the experience so far.
It's very well done.
Awesome. Are any of you gamers yourself?
Once upon a time.
Once
I
upon
don't
a
really
time.
have the time no more. That makes sense.
Was there a favorite piece so far of the night?
Honestly, World of Warcraft. Yet I don't even play it.
I like it because I love you. I thought that was really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was nice.
She has a lovely voice.
Oh, what?
The lady, the soloist, she has a beautiful voice. And how did you guys find out about the event tonight?
Oh, my niece, Olivia Elmagar, she's performing, so we came out to see, enjoying ourselves.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, of course, I have to ask, have you played or are you a gamer yourself?
No. Actually, the orchestra occasionally talks me into these things, so what I did was I played 2 games. I suppose when I say no, that's a bit black and white and a bit unfair. I have bought a couple of video games which were games of the music that we were playing. Okay. And they were Civilization 4 and Myst. Civilization 4, I enjoyed, that was great, that was wonderful. After about a day and a half, I thought, what is it with Gandhi? And then someone explained to me with the orchestra what it was with Gandhi. So there I was, that was great. Myst, I spent 2 hours and I did everything. And I still couldn't work out how to go next, how to get on to the next level, how to use the time machine. And I asked the orchestra about this. And I specifically asked the public relations officer, because it was he who had arranged this fantastic setting of the music for Myst. And he said, really, the only way you can move on is to get a cheat sheet or look it up on the internet. And I thought, that really doesn't grab me. I thought, you know, and I said, but, and he said, yeah, you've done all the right things. And then he would say, did you do it? And I say, yes. Did you do it? Yeah, I'll say yes. Did you do it? I say yes. And he was out of ideas. So I thought, well, I must be doing something wrong. So those are the two games. But I am of an era that computer games for me are adventure and rogue. And I used to play the old Star Trek game that came on a grid like this with short and long range sensors. That would be in the early 80s, I should think, or maybe in the late 70s there was an early Star Trek game going around.
Okay, awesome. So you dabbled in a little bit of gaming here and there.
Yes, and not as much as I'm sure the orchestra would like, and not as much as I would like sometimes.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the right game that will be easy to pick up and that you'll enjoy, and I'll recommend it to you.
Okay, that sounds sweet. That sounds like a deal.
Well, I thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us and just share about yourself, and I really appreciate it. We look forward to tonight's performance.
Brilliant. Well, it's great to have you along, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.